is a spice. I'm going to call this one a spice, but I don't want to say it's my favorite because I have too many favorites to choose just one. But it is one that I really cherish and I use it quite a bit. I may use it at least twice, 2 or 3 times a week. And this is star anise. So let me take it out so you guys can see it. And I'm trying to get one of the stars that looks halfway decent because a lot of mine are broken. But it smells so, oh God, it smells wonderful. It actually smells like licorice. I don't know if you guys have ever had licorice, but that's pretty much what it smells like. It tastes more like so this is one of the, let me see which side. Okay, put it over there. Basically looks like a star. I'm sure you guys have seen it before. Inside each of those little crevices is a seed. And this spice is one that I use in tea. So I like to drop this in my teapot when it's boiling. I also will use this sometimes to flavor porridge or oatmeal or rice or like farina. Like I'm saying farina. What is it called? Um, Haitians call it mamoule, and I think in the South we call it grits. So yeah, some people call it porridge, I guess, but I'm not really sure. But yeah, in the South we just call it grits. And but anyway, I use this to flavor my grits. I'll boil it in the water, remove it from the water, and then boil my grits. If I'm eating them for breakfast, I like to have grits. I'm country, y'all. So I like to have grits with butter and breakfast foods because that's how I eat grits. If I'm eating it like in the morning as a breakfast, sort of a carb for breakfast. But if I'm eating it for lunch or dinner, like I know sometimes people have shrimp and grits, then I eat it differently. I really love the way Haitians prepare it with the beans. And I love that. Like beans and grits together to me is a perfect combination. And I could eat pounds of that stuff. It's really delicious. But anyway, so this is what I use when licorice. It is just store. And there is another version of this. From Asia. There's one that comes from a certain place that is poisonous. However, if you're purchasing this in the store, you should be fine. But if somebody's just trying to sell it to you, probably not such a good idea. Because there is a version of it, and I think it's hard to tell the difference between the two just by looking at them. So always purchase this from a reputable source, like a grocery store or, Whole Foods, Sprouts, or the multicultural markets have it. I know a lot of Indian stores have this. So yeah, don't ever just try to like purchase it. I don't think you can even find it in the US anyway, but there is another version of this that is not our friend. It's not nice. So yeah, this is Star Anise, and it is, again, it has a licorice fragrance to it. And how do I describe the taste? It's almost like a earthy, sweet tone to it. Like even if you don't add sugar to this, and I'm guessing because our sense of smell and our taste work together. So when I smell it, it's almost like I can taste the sweetness of it. So your brain is tricked, I think, into thinking that this is has a sugary undertone to it, even though there's probably no sugar involved. So it does have a sweet and earthy flavor, and it smells very much like licorice. And it's interesting because I don't really care for licorice. When I was young, my mom had some friends and they were big into herbalism and all sorts of things, natural. And I was my mom little sidekick. So I would follow my mom around to, hang out with her friends and everywhere she went when I was younger. But so she was a part of this friend group that was extremely crunchy, and they had all of these herbs, and they would have licorice, like they would have the licorice sticks, and they would have licorice around. And so when we would go visit them, of course, they would have licorice sticks, and they would my mom some, and of course my mom would offer me some. Hey, you want to try this? And I tasted it once, and I was just like, oh, that's disgusting. Like I wanted no parts of licorice. I just did not like the way it tasted. To me, it just tasted like medicine. I didn't like it. So yeah, so it's interesting how as we get older, our tastes change, because now I love the smell of licorice. I still can't eat licorice candy or licorice flavored things, but I do like the scent. Whereas before I didn't like the smell, taste. I didn't want any parts of it. It just seemed kind of disgusting to me as a kid. So yeah, this is Star Anise, and I think this is more popular in Asian culture than it is here in America. But again, one of the things you guys are going to learn about me is that I am very open-minded, and I love to learn. I love to say that variety is the spice of life. If that is true, my life is full of spice because I love variety. I'm open to various cultural foods and condiments, and especially herbs and spices. I'm very much open to that. And I have to thank my parents for that. My dad, herbalism, and teaching me so much about natural foods and the different things and the different properties, and just natural way to take care of my body. But also my father, because when I was a little girl, my father would come home. He was an amazing cook, y'all. Like, that's one of the best cooks that I've ever known. He was, and I'm not saying that because he was my father. This man was a jack of all trades. He knew how to take things and make sausage and make out. Like one Sundays we would have like feast days. My dad would in the morning with breakfast, and then he would just cook all day long until evening, and then invite it over, and my entire family would just eat food, and it was just delicious. But the thing that he gifted me with was my love of cultural food and food in general, because he would bring home foods. He always cooked these big elaborate meals. He ate a lot of home food. Like my parents, we didn't eat out. He did eat out. He was always introducing me to something new. Like all of the various cultures of food that I ever tasted as a young person was because my dad brought home um, Chinese food, Japanese food, Mexican food. And then sometimes he would even begin to make the food himself, like he created this hot recipe, right? He ended up teaching that recipe to one of his friends who went on to actually put that recipe together and sell it in the store. My dad was legit. He was really a goat. And so that brings back to this. A lot of the herbs and spices that are from other places, not things that you would necessarily find in America, and they're definitely not things from background necessarily. And so one of the reasons I'm open to that and that I will try all of these things is because my dad taught me as a young person never to try something new. So he would bring all these different foods home. I still remember the first time I tasted like Chinese compared. You it, I've probably had it. And so the reason I'm so open-minded about herbs and foods is my parents were very open-minded herbs and spices with my mom. Good health and these good look maintain naturally, not have to take about medicines, things like that. Don't get me wrong, if something wrong with me and yeah, hopefully, continue to do more videos and you guys can see all of the different spices that I have. This is just one of the many. I have lots of them. So I'll do a couple more videos, and then I want to go into talking and has fried twice again this week, or fried gizzards or fried fish, and maybe I just need to have, baked fish or baked chicken, so I balance it, but I don't deprive myself, and I combine it with herbs, spices, teas, and all of the things. So I do know a lot about the teas, and fried foods can cause your cholesterol to go up. Enjoy the way it tastes inside of them. So I use this on a pretty regular basis, not all the time, but in this video, please like, subscribe, and click the notification bell if you are interested in seeing more of these videos. Leave a comment. Let me know, if you are into any herbs, spices, and how you learned about the herbs and spices that you know of, and what you use. Usually use a particular herb or take a particular herb, like when you're consuming it, what would be the reason behind why you use it? I would love to know the stories behind how you learned that particular herb, spice, or whatever it is, your regimen. Yeah, I'm a birth postpartum doula is what I do. I absolutely love helping, supporting families, helping mothers with breastfeeding, all things baby. I think birth is miraculous. It is the love of my life. And I would love to support you guys if you're patient, and we can start on your journey to your miracle or your birth. What else do I want to hear? I'm tired again. This is earlier. It's like 10, almost 10:30 this time. So I got the video out a little earlier than I normally do. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Nothing more. I do have a birth coming up soon. So just a heads up. I know I've been saying I do these every day until further notice, but when I have a client that goes in labor, they're 30 weeks, I'm on call. So when I'm on call, all that matters to me are my clients, guys. So I will stop doing videos for the day or two that it takes me to take care of my client, to get them settled, do all of their things, and then I have to come and rest, because a lot of times a birth can be emotionally and physically taxing for me sometimes. So I recover a little bit for a couple of days, and then I can start the videos back. So if you guys don't see me for a few days, more than likely I am going to take care and support a family while they're welcoming their baby earthside. And it is the most miraculous event. And I am so privileged to be in bringing life to this world, being a part of that with these families, take it very serious. So I will take time off from making videos during that time. I focus on my client and their family and supporting them. And yeah, I'm just very much gone, and I will disappear because I'm making sure that my whole self and my whole heart to my clients during that time. So if you guys don't see me in the next couple of weeks, it's because I have a birth coming up. And then in, let's see,